dietary intervention is so powerful with child illnesses. Things like autism, ADHD, asthma, allergies. We really understand now that these are whole body disorders, and we're seeing that these are a combination of genetic factors as well as environmental factors. And so really the systems that are impacted are around digestion, detoxification, immune function, and the brain function as well. And we see a lot of physical symptoms with these children, not just the condition or the diagnosis they have, but symptoms that get overlooked, like diarrhea, constipation, sleeping challenges, rashes, inattentiveness, things like that. And so these additional symptoms are not just coincidence, but these arise in part from the whole body and the balance of the body. And so what we want to look for is getting the proper foods that we can do, and including foods that they can process. So for me, diet is a two-part process. It's removing the foods that are problematic, and it's adding the foods that are healing for the body. So we often want to do things like avoid foods that inflame the gut, that inhibit digestion, and that burden the detoxification and immune system functions. So this includes removing inflammatory foods such as wheat and dairy, improving digestion and elimination. We want to do as much as we can to support these systems that get overburdened by the toxins and the chemicals and the additives in foods, and also the nutrient deficiencies that are present. And when we do that, we see great improvements in things like language, attention, behavior. Sleeping improves, which is beneficial for the whole family, a reduction in inflammation and pain that we see, and often the child is just generally happier, which is really the ultimate goal of most parents. Sometimes we see small little incremental benefits, other times we see huge leaps, but all in all, diet makes a big difference in helping with these different childhood imbalances. So while initially parents sometimes feel that the diet seems difficult to start, they often tell me that once they get going with this diet, they see the improvement in their children, in their health, in their happiness, in hyperactivity, and having the children be more present in the moment and not having to spend so much time with all of these types of health challenges, then the parents have more time with the children, and the diet becomes a lot less of a time-consuming thing. It takes a little bit of time to figure out a few things, but ultimately in the long run, a lot of time is saved because you can spend time enjoying your family, spending time with your family, and the food preparation part becomes much less significant. So I really want to encourage parents that shouldn't be a deterrent to doing the diet, because in the long run, parents always tell me that it's worth doing, and even sometimes kids tell me that they're happy to do the diet because they feel so much better. And the diet also, any of these diets, they don't have to be expensive. It's surprising when you really think about it how expensive all those processed packaged foods are, and with having absolutely no nutrients in the foods, you're spending a lot of money for a lot of air. So you can make a lot of these foods very simply. It doesn't require a lot of processing, a lot of time to make all of these things. It can be done in a simple, inexpensive manner. And I want to address just another thing about picky eaters, because this often comes up as well. A lot of children, especially when they have some of these challenges around digestion and detoxification, can become very addicted to the chemicals, whether it's the additive chemicals and the artificial ingredients or wheat and dairy. They become very sort of addicted to these foods, and what happens is they self-select into a very narrow range of foods. And so often parents will say, well, there's no way I can get my child to get off of these foods because these are the only foods they eat. Well, I really want to encourage parents, because when you take the addictive foods out, then they start opening up their diet in so many ways. I often hear stories about children who eat vegetables for the first time, or eat more healthy foods like meats that they cook at home for dinner and things like that. So picky eating can really decrease actually after you take these foods out. And also remember that nutrient deficiencies, which are so common, such as zinc deficiency, can create poor sense of smell and poor appetite. So as we improve the overall functioning of the body and the health, a lot of the picky eating disappears, and rarely do I find that children won't convert over to these new foods. So definitely give it a try. And when you take out these toxic foods and these toxic additives, get these out of the system, get the good nutrients in, you not only see a reduction in symptoms, you are able to detoxify the body and really start improving the overall health of the body and of the mind. So these diets can be very helpful for children.